Alright, y'all, it's time for the last video of the evening, and of course, we're going to talk WWE. Talking about the WWE main event tonight. I'm just going to say this coming out of it. This one is not as good as their other big events that they've done this year. I have to say, out of all of them, this is probably my least favorite. And don't get me wrong, it still has some good matches in there, but Patches is playing with her mouse that she got earlier from her advent calendar. But she likes those toy mice, so she's really playing with it. That's what you're hearing in the background. But, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still some good matches, but not as good as what you get in some of the other big events that WWE has. So, I know it's all leading up to WrestleMania, but actually it looked like they just took a step back from all of that. Like, they're not even playing off of their storylines, really. It's just like, okay, like, this is just a story within a story kind of thing. We'll just wrap it up real quick and we can get back to the main stuff. It's because, like, Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. Going into that one, I already know who was going to win it. Liv Morgan's not gonna lose that title because it's going to be her versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. We already know that. That's all this is leading up to, is WrestleMania between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan at some point. That's what we're going for. Unless it's going to be a pay-per-view just before then. But I'm thinking it's probably going to be WrestleMania, chances are, just to wrap up that story so we can move on one way or the other. But yeah. So, I already know who's going to win, but the overall match, I was expecting a lot more out of that matchup than what happened. Because those two women, I mean, Io Sky and Liv Morgan, they should have had an A+ match all the way through. It was more like a C for me. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting more high flying. I was expecting more risk maneuvers. You know, I was kind of expecting Raquel Rodriguez to come out and help out Liv from time to time, or maybe Dirty Dom to come out, just because that's just what they do. But there wasn't really much of that either. Might have been a little bit, but not much. You know, which is good. I mean, it makes for a good match between the two of them, but it just, I don't know, it just really didn't hit. And maybe it's just because a lot of people already knew, or I already knew who the winner was going to be, so I didn't even, to be honest, there were times when I just looked off from the match because it's like, okay, I already know who's going to win. And I'm like, no, you need to watch this, Gail, because it might be a really good match. But, yeah. I guess it just didn't hit the way I thought it would. But, and then, of course, Cody Rhodes' match, too, it was the same thing. I already know that Cody Rhodes is going to keep the title. That's obvious. You know. Oh, and then Gunther, his title, too. I didn't expect Gunther to lose his title either in that three-way bout, because, you know, in big events like this, the ones that kind of lead up to other big events, generally the one who holds the title doesn't really lose it that often. They might from time to time, but a good majority of the time they don't lose it until it's a bigger event. So somehow I kind of expected Gunther to keep it. I just didn't know exactly how. I thought it was going to be I really thought that Dirty Dom was going to interfere in some way, shape, or form, and that would kind of be his way out of the Judgment Day. But that did not happen. None of that happened. It was just, Gunther being Gunther, and he outgunned them, gunned both of his opponents, and still won the match. So, um, and like I said, with Cody Rhodes, I mean, no way he was going to lose that match tonight to Seth Rollins. They've got bigger plans for Cody Rhodes on down the line, so no way he's losing that match up tonight. I'm gonna say they've got big plans for Cody Rhodes for WrestleMania. I got a big feeling about that, so he's not losing that title tonight. There's just no way. So kind of knew those three, and then Chelsea Green, kind of figured she was going to win that match too. I really was kind of rooting for, um, I was kind of rooting against her, mainly because I like Michelin and I like to see Michelin finally get a title or hold one. I was kind of a little disappointed that, Chelsea Green got to hold the title first. And I feel like the only reason they really did that is because they happened to be, you know, they happened to be right in or around Chelsea Green's hometown. So that's why they did it that way, which I felt was kind of a letdown. I don't think that stuff should really matter in a match, but it is what it is. I mean, Chelsea Green won. Um, so yeah, like I said, this event didn't really hit like, in my opinion, it didn't really hit like previous events have in the past. Like Angela pointed out, there was no bloodline match either, so that kind of was a letdown too. Oh, and then Drew McIntyre's match too earlier on in the night. That was kind of it. Mm, I mean, that was really the only bloodline match, I guess, and it wasn't. It didn't hit like I thought it would. Put it that way. And then the rest of the night was pretty much the same way. And let's face it, I think Drew McIntyre's match is the only one I really cared about. The other ones is, well, that match and Chelsea Green versus Michelin match. Those are the only two I really cared about, because those matches could play it out. You know, you don't know what the outcome is for those two, but the other ones you pretty much already know what the outcome is going to be. So it's just like, I'll still watch it, but I kind of already know that these people are not going to lose their belts tonight. So let's move on. But I mean, maybe it is what it is, I guess. But I think they could, in my opinion, I think they could have put up bigger and better matches for this. I think it just seemed like it was kind of a rush job just to get through. Like, hey, let's just get in, let's get this done, let's go through it, so that way we can get to January. Because this will be it, and then we'll have maybe a couple. I think they're supposed to have like Raw and SmackDown next week, and I think that might be it until after Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. So that might be it too until WWE goes on Netflix. So who knows? But like I said, it wasn't as good as I think it could have been. So I mean, I think really, to be honest, I think I'm gonna give the whole thing a D, because it just wasn't. It just didn't hit. It just wasn't as interesting as what they've done in the past. They had some big names there, and they did the retro thing. That was really cool, but the matches themselves, they just didn't hit the way they should have. And as a fan, you want to see him hit. You want to see, you want to see something in these matches that you're going to brag about later. And I didn't really see much to brag about. The Cody Rhodes match, I guess where he hit Seth, when Cody Rhodes used the RKO. Well, I don't know if it was the RKO, but he used one of Randy Orton's moves. I mean, that was really cool. I like that. I think it was the RKO. But still, when he did that, that was really cool. The talk moment. But it wasn't the moment that won him the match. So, and then another problem I had with it too is when they go like, okay, well, Cody Rhodes used the chair at the end. I mean, the chair was just laying there, and then Rhodes does his finishing move to win the match, where you know where Kevin Owens. I think I've been seeing Seth Rollins, but anyway, Kevin Owens lands on the chair, and supposedly Kevin Owens lands on the chair, but when you watch it, like I did a couple of times, no, Kevin Owens never hits the chair. It's unless I said I think they kind of muffed that up. Because Cody Rhodes, the back of his shoulder is what hit, or his back anyway. That's what hits the chair. It wasn't. I think it was just a muff. But they still try to play it off like, oh, well, he used it. And no, he really didn't. It was kind of muffed up. And I would kind of, if I were you guys, I'd kind of drop it. Because it really didn't look that good on camera. But that's just me. I mean, they still went with the story, I guess. But I think I would have dropped it at that point. Just let it go. It just didn't look that good on camera. Maybe it looked good in the venue, but for the people watching at home, it just didn't look as good. That's all I got to say on that. So, like I said, all in all, I'm going to give it a D because I just wasn't impressed. It just didn't hit. None of the matches really hit home. The only ones that were really worth watching was the first match with Drew McIntyre, and then the last match with Chelsea Green. Not the last match, but the later match with Chelsea Green and Michelin. Those two matches, the only ones that I really wanted to watch. The rest of them, it's just. I think they could have been better, even though we already knew what the outcome was. I think they could have been a lot better than what they were. And really, but, and I know WWE might be looking back like, well, what were you expecting? I was like, well, I was expecting high risk maneuvers. I was expecting these people to still go all out in these matches because they are title matches. I mean, yes, maybe they're not as big of opponents, and yes, we might already know the outcome. But why in the hell does that matter? They still should hit the same way. I mean, these are still title matches. They should be fought just like any other title match. They should be fought all the way through. Now, Gunther's was kind of a little bit more interesting. I will give him that. That one was a little bit more hardcore. I like that one. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Gunther won again. I didn't like it. I liked it. I liked the outcome of it. Gunther should win. He should keep the titles. He should keep going. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I really don't mind him. He's a really good heel. He does what he's supposed to do. He makes it to where everybody doesn't like him. So until that changes, I say he's a really good heel, and he's doing a good job of what he's doing. So more props to him. Let him keep the title. Let him keep him on his back, because I mean that the fans got to have somebody that they don't like, and he's someone they don't like. So more power to him, man. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and he's earning his paycheck. So I like that match too, I guess, come to think of it. But like I said, really Gunther's match, that one and like I said, the Drew McIntyre match at the very beginning, those two were the only ones that were really worthwhile to watch. The rest of them really just didn't hit. And I mean, Michelin versus um, uh, Green. Now that one did hit a little bit, but like I said, at the end of the day, you knew who's going to win it, and I still think that match could have been better. Because at the end of the day, they did exactly what you would expect them to do in that match. I would have wanted them to do stuff that was going to be different, stuff that I would not expect. Out of either one of them, give me something to talk about. Is my thing, and that didn't happen. It didn't happen in that match. It didn't happen in Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Nothing happened there. I was gonna say okay. I mean, they kept rapping about the chair, but that was kind of a muffed up thing at the end. Like I said, I think I would just forget about it and move on. Just pretend it didn't happen, because it kind of makes you look bad. They just messed up, so just let it go. But there was that, and yeah. Liv Morgan versus Io Sky, that one should have been a lot better than what it was. Like I said, that one should have been high risk. That should have been those two ladies giving it their all. That should have been a match where the referee was conked out, in my opinion. Just to let those two ladies have at it. I think it would have been a lot more interesting, to see how that would play out, but that's not the way they did it. So I think there was just missed opportunities in that match. They could have made it a lot better. I think really the Drew McIntyre match at the very beginning, that one could have been a lot better too. So, like I said, just my opinion, and don't kill me, but I was just disappointed in this one. I think they could have done a lot better in the main event. But in WWE main event is what I meant. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all for tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Peace out, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.